Guys, this is the episode you've all been waiting for. It is NSFW. It's not safe for work. It's explicit. This is the sex episode. Welcome to Millennial Secrets. If you're on your way to work, I hope this wakes you up. If you're listening to this in the evening, I hope you've got a drink. I hope you're joining us today. And I'm joined with two of my really good friends, and we're going to talk about kinks and that sort of stuff. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm April. Do I need to say anything more?
Yeah, go for it. April, how old are you?
You won't ask me to say my age.
Yeah, it's Millennial Secrets.
I'm 27.
You're 27, cool. And then Rum?
Yeah, hi, I'm Rum. I met Terrell a long time ago. By the way, can I just say, why are we not doing friendiversaries? I feel like that's something that we should do.
This is the friendiversary.
But
we're going to learn about your sex
We should
life.
normalize celebrating being friends.
Yeah.
We've been friends for what, 9-10 years?
Well, right now we're celebrating your sex life, so let's dive into
so much to celebrate. Okay.
So the way that this is going to work today is that I'm going to go through.
You have to say his age.
Sorry, go on.
I'm 29. I'm pushing 30.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sensitive subject at the moment, but it's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the 3 top trends in sex at the moment in the UK. Just going to get your reactions to it. Tell me what you think. Bring the energy. This is fun. I just wanted to say that this podcast was born out of me having these conversations with my friends. So this is kind of the episode that brought all of this on. So talking about sex, hearing about my friends' sex lives. Is this normal? Am I normal? So I hope you enjoy it. Have fun with us and let us know what you think in the comment section. So the number 1 trend at the moment that's penetrating the nation.
Pun intended.
That was pretty good.
I know, it's good, right? It's pegging. So
okay.
Pegging is number 1. So just before I go into the definition, I just wanted to say that so many of my friends are telling me in secret that they are. So if it's a woman, she's saying, "I'm getting into it with my boyfriend. He's down for this. Keep it a secret. We're really enjoying it." So just to put into context what it is, and this is just a Google definition, and I'll clarify after. Pegging is an anal sex act in which a woman penetrates a man's anus with a strap-on dildo. So yeah, it's the hottest sex trend at the moment that's sweeping across the nation.
Wow.
A lot of people are getting into this. And the reason is... And
Can I ask what's that based off?
Well, I'm about to tell you.
Okay,
so
cool.
the male G-spot is the prostate, right?
Yeah.
So it is, and I've done a lot of research for all of this, I have to get it right. It's a kidney-sized, it's like a kidney bean, so it's about that big. And it's inside the anus, and it's about 2 to 3 inches in. So during arousal, it swells and becomes firmer. Like the vagina, so like the clitoris, it responds to gentle but firm pressure. And this gland is responsible for squeezing prostatic fluid during ejaculation. So there have been doctors that have said that this is actually a more intense orgasm than actually like normal ejaculation.
I can believe it.
Can you? So I've just got to quote Charlotte Glickman, who is a sex and relationships coach. She's like, porn might be a source of inspiration for this, but it shouldn't be used as direction. So if you are looking to porn as inspiration, fine, but you've got to be quite sensitive with your partner. So don't just copy everything that you see online. If it's your partner's first time trying this, you want to make sure that they feel comfortable, that they're lubed up probably, and all of that. You don't just want to shove it in there. But yeah, so strap-ons and all of that. And in 2020, guys, Love Honey did a survey, and they found that 10% of women polled were interested in pegging their partners, and their sales of strap-ons went up by 200%.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? So only 10%. Well, this is admitted to it. So in that survey, I think we've got to say that not everyone's going to tell the truth, right? And we don't know how many people they sampled, but the numbers are showing that based on that year on its own, 200% growth in strap-ons. So
wow,
people are really interested in it, and it is, the G-spot is there, and obviously people are finding that it's amazing when their partner's doing it.
I'm curious to know
Go
about
on.
the first man who ever discovered that. That's what's going through my head.
Oh,
right
I
now.
think he definitely did it himself.
It's just sat on a pole.
What are your opinions? So I want to ask like you first, Rum.
Yeah.
How would you feel about trying this out?
Well, I haven't tried it out, but I have experienced, butt stuff before.
Have you
Not
been
to the
rimmed?
degree I have.
Okay.
I haven't been pegged per se. I think personally for me, it might be a little hurdle I need to get over, because when I have been on the receiving end of rimming, I did feel quite emasculated, and I think,
Interesting.
and probably think like a lot of other men would probably feel that as well.
That's something that came out of the survey.
Yeah. So that's really, honestly, like that's my genuine opinion of it so far. I can't speak for the rest of the men who have done it or who haven't done it, but all I know is that there's kind of like a mental blockage that's happening for me.
When you were being rimmed, was it something that naturally came? Not so naturally came. Is it something that naturally happened, or was it like over a process? You said, I think I want you to go down there.
Yeah, it was discussed beforehand. It's happened a few times, but the first time it happened, it was discussed before. Actually, no, I'll tell you the first.
Oh, so you're into it. It's happened more than once.
It's happened more than once, yeah. But it's not something that I would probably say, it's like my go-to when it comes to like.
There's no shame in it. If you enjoy it, that's where that's where our prostates are. So as men,
well, I mean, like obviously rimming, you don't really reach the prostate.
It depends how long the tongue is.
That's true.
Quite. Quite.
I'll tell you what. If we're gonna be as congruent as we can,
Yep.
I'll tell you my first ever experience when it came to anything butt related. So I'll kick it off by saying that it was a uni experience. I remember this girl was giving me head, and then all I remember she said was, "I need you to relax." And this is, by the way, like her giving me no warning signs, nothing. She was just like, "Relax," and I was like, "I'm getting head. How much more relaxed can I be?" And suddenly, I just felt her finger just sort of going down my groin and my the gooch area, and then sort of up and in. And for me, that immediately just made me jolt. And I was like, what are you doing?
Did you fart?
No, I didn't fart. But she was like, no, I promise you it's going to feel good. And I think back to what you were saying is like, if you're doing it with someone who's a stranger or a partner, like you do need to make that person feel very comfortable, because had she have just gone for it, like,
Did she have acrylic nails?
No, she didn't have any nails. I was thinking about that as well.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, like, okay, it can't hurt because she doesn't have any.
But
long
were you
nails.
worried as well? Like, you might have just taken a shit before then.
So, about that. So she did it, and she obviously, like, I didn't allow, my body just didn't respond in a way that was like, I'm fully relaxed now. I can just melt into the bed. She kind of put like the tip of her finger in, and then I did feel that when she was putting it out, I was like, fuck me, I'm gonna shit myself in a second.
Oh my god.
But I didn't. It was I was clean, I was everything, but I did feel that.
Really?
It's because it was the first time, so I didn't know how to respond. I'd never had anything up there before.
Yeah. So, it's with that sort of thing, it's about preparation.
Absolutely.
Making sure the other partner feels comfortable. April, have you ever put on a strap on?
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go, guys.
Yeah.
Right, tell us about it.
Well, in what way?
So, the first time you ever put on a strap on.
Oh yeah, it did feel a bit weird. I did it way before it was a trend. Like, I'm not trying to be
You're
like,
a
oh my God, I'm
trendsetter, though.
so
We all know
cool.
that.
But I was actually dating someone who was slowly revealing to me that he was a submissive man, and I hadn't quite discovered my kinks yet. This was like 7 years ago, maybe, and I was quite worried that he might be into being pegged, because he was making these little comments, and he was like, oh, some guy on Reddit thought that he was gay. No, what am I even talking about?
No, go for it. Yeah.
He was telling me about some story he'd read on Reddit where a guy thought he was gay and he slept with a man, but it turned out he actually just liked being fucked in the arse. But I felt like he was telling me this story so that he could be like, oh, but who doesn't like being fucked? You know, he was like,
but that
was coming into
but that
conversation.
supports the research though, because that is where the male G spot is. It's the prostate, so it doesn't define your sexuality.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, in order to reach that.
Yeah. So, but I was really scared because I was young.
How old were you?
I was about 21, I think. And I hadn't quite, like, with women, I think sometimes our sexual development comes later because we are not taught how to receive pleasure. We're just taught how to give pleasure. And we're also taught in a way that's like, I mean, not exactly taught, like no one's teaching this in school, but you do kind of feel like your position is to be choked and to be tied up and to be handcuffed to the bed. And I wasn't particularly into any of that. So I kind of just thought, like, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like, oh, when someone's choking me, like it's going to make me come. Like, to be honest, I was a bit scared that I would die. And I wasn't massively into it, but I was kind of just doing it because I thought that was what you did. And I was dating this guy and he was like slowly revealing to me that he might be submissive. And I was terrified. I remember texting my friend like, oh my God, I think he wants me to fuck him in the arse. And I don't want to do that. And then I did it.
So what did you do? You went to Ann Summers or you ordered from Love Honey?
He ordered some stuff.
So he did it for...
We spoke about it. You should always get consent with everything.
Oh, absolutely. We're coming on to that. Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, it definitely wasn't something where he was like, surprise, I've got a strap on.
We
spoke about it. I started to dominate him. We started to do like he was on holiday and I would be sexting him and I would be like, right now, like, you have to go back to your room. Like, you can only come now. Otherwise, you're not allowed to come for the whole day. Like, that kind of stuff. And we did like this whole build up. So I would literally make him, like, he would be out for dinner. I'd be like, you need to go to your room now and come. Otherwise, you're not gonna.
Wow. Wow, the power of April Winters.
So we got to like that kind of, and I've never been so turned on in my life. Like, that was like the best sex I've had so far.
So may I ask, was it the control that you liked?
Yeah, and it was also just the discovery of like, oh, I don't have to be, because I don't really like being told what to do. It pisses me off when I'm in bed and they're like, oh, come for me now. I'm like, you're not choosing when I come.
So he buys the strap on, you put it on.
Yeah.
You've got this big dildo hanging from it.
I did feel a bit awkward about it, but I think the thing is like I had such a good partner for it. And the thing about being a dominant woman, you have to, I think a lot of men think that they can be submissive for you. And like my ex, for example, he was like, oh, you know, I'm quite into the idea of being submissive, but he wasn't actually submissive. And I think what people don't understand about the role of someone who's submissive is you have to be an active sub.
We're coming to that, yeah. We're coming to it.
Yeah, so he was an active, so he really wanted it. And the fact that he wanted it so much, and it was like sort of him that was it, even though I was the dominant, he was actually guiding it, which is something that I think a submissive should be doing as well.
Yeah. Did you get pleasure? Yeah. Did you get pleasure?
Oh, I loved it.
So when you were fucking him with the dildo,
yeah, I mean, not like obviously not physical, but it's mental. I think sex revolves around the mind, and it, you know, later on when I did come, it made me come even harder because, you know, that was I really liked it, and I've done it quite a few times since. I really like to do it. To be honest,
are you guys shocked that this is one of the biggest trends happening at the moment with millennials?
No,
you're not. Are you shocked, Rum?
I don't know if I'm shocked. I was expecting it because the older I get, the more I hear these stories, and I've heard.
But it's always like, oh, by the way, like the other night, I got
yeah.
It's not like no one's going to go to Weatherspoons or wherever it is you choose to hang out and say, oh, you know, my girlfriend.
Let's put it this way: if any of my male friends, the ones that I know, came up to me and said that, I probably would be surprised because I know them. But if a stranger or someone that I met on a night out, like let's just say, I don't know, I overheard a conversation, or I'm just like, we go to an event and I make friends with this group of people, and then for some reason the topic turns sexual and people start talking about that. That's probably where I would be a bit more like understanding and be like, oh, okay.
May I ask, why would it surprise you if one of your friends told you?
I think for me it's more because most of my male friends are quite like macho, and they're like, you know, they're stereotypical man and masculine energy and sort of in a relationship. So for me, if I hear that, you know, But look, whatever goes in their bedrooms is their choice, and I would not I would not judge it, but I would. All I'm saying is I probably would be surprised. So I guess to answer your question, maybe I am quite surprised that is on the rise. That is a trend.
It's literally on the rise.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think with all of this, like none of us here are here to judge anyone what they choose to do in the bedroom. I don't think it defines how masculine you are or anything like that, but the science is there. Our G-spot is up there, and if people are discovering it and having a more pleasurable experience, then more power to you.
Of course.
You know. The next one is BDSM. So bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, sadism, and masochism. Yeah, that's what it stands for.
No.
Yeah, that's what it stands for. And the first thing that I need to say, so Annabelle Knight, who is a sex and relationships expert, has said that before you decide to jump into BDSM, you need to make sure that you've got your safe words. And often it's got nothing to do with sex. So it could be pomegranate, tangerine, banana. I don't know why I'm coming out with fruits.
Pineapple is a really common one.
Is pineapple one of your safe words?
I don't have one at my current moment in time, but actually this is really bad because I've been involved in kinky situations before and I've never had a safe word, so that's where I've been going wrong.
This is the thing, and what she said, just to get her name again, is Annabelle Knight. The most common thing is the traffic lights. So red means stop. So if you shout out red, stop. Amber, slow down. Like, don't keep going at that pace. And then green is fucking plow me and go for it. Keep going.
Are you going to be like shouting green?
Yeah, like, green.
I think it's just like a yes would suffice.
No, well, come on. But if you're in that role, you want to scream green. I don't know. So one thing that Annabelle has said is that it's important for both partners to experience both being a dom and a sub. So you both get to experience being in control of it and also receiving. And the dominant person will demonstrate the power and control over the submissive role. And the dom provides spanking, bondage, giving orders. The sub is always in a position of power and can control how far it goes. But it's a two-way thing. So when you do get into all of this, it's important to know that both people have a level of power and that consent is important. So you can call out those safe words, you can. And it's interesting because some people choose to live the dom and sub positions 24/7. So if you're in a relationship,
yeah, I've heard about that.
It could be just like, this is how we live our lives. I'm the dom, I'm the sub. That's what's happening. And in some people that are part of the BDSM world, guys, if you're part of this, please comment down below. They're called switchers. So they switch.
Oh, I'm a switch.
Oh, tell us a bit about that.
Well, kind of. I'm more dominant, but I like to switch. It's just more fun, isn't it? You can try but if it's so much hard work being a dom. You've got to think of new things all the time.
But if you like to be in control,
yeah, but I think that you are in control if you switch because it feels like equal. And it's also fun to being a dom is hard work. Like you have to think of things to do, you have to think of things to say, you have to do all this stuff to them. And then after a while, sometimes it's nice for them to just be like, okay, I'm gonna get on top of you and choke you now, and then you get to just relax a bit. I kind of just use it for relaxing. But I do like the mixture. Keeps things interesting.
Yeah, I can imagine it taking a lot of creative energy, as you said.
Yeah.
Being a dom. But I don't know. I'm so new to all of this, so it's just
no, you're not. So the thing is, though, technically, when you were being rimmed, you were the submissive,
right? Yeah. So no, obviously, when I say I'm new to it, I mean it's not. I've experienced parts of BDSM, but how I sort of visualize, and this could be completely down to my ignorance and naivety about the whole situation, but how I imagine BDSM is the whole tying up situation and being handcuffed and stuff. Could I be wrong? Am I right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about it, guys. I've done my homework. I'm so pleased that I can answer all these questions. I feel like I've really done a good job with this, but a lot of it is mental. So. Okay. Say, for example, the couple that's doing this 24/7, mentally, I mean, they're not going to be going to Sainsbury's, Tesco's, or wherever it is you get your groceries and saying, you get this and you get that and you hold the basket this way and you make sure you pay for it. It's more of a mindset thing. So it's not necessarily just in the bedroom. It could be, you know, you get this at the supermarket, you do that, you top up the petrol, you do that. It penetrates other sides of,
Sure.
you know, your life.
Sure.
And in the kink community that does partake in BDSM, the words brat, puppy, pleasure top, daddy, dom and mistress come into effect. So I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures or videos of people with those dog masks on,
Yeah.
where it's like one's the puppy and one's the owner. And because come on, this is London.
I like those dog masks. I'm not into it sexually, but I think they look. Am I allowed to say cunt?
Yeah, go on.
Strong word. They look cunty. Like I'm using the good use of the word.
Yeah.
Like it gives cunt. Like it looks so cool. But I not sexually, absolutely not. I would find that like personally.
Would you wear a dog
mask? I would find
mask?
it weird. No.
Would you wear one?
For my missus?
Yeah.
No, probably not.
What if she wanted to put one on?
I'd be like, for what? As you can tell, it's just
you quite vanilla.
I'm not vanilla.
People hate being called vanilla, but I actually think. Can I? Just
You know what?
say-
In respect to the rise in trends, yes, I would say I'm on the slower side. If
You're not
I can say
vanilla.
that.
I
Well,
think
not
we
the
have.
same.
I think it's a huge problem that people are ashamed to be vanilla, and this, like in our society,
I embrace it.
it's really, really bad because I think this is why people are literally they'll be like 18 or like younger having sex for the first time, and they just think that they're boring if they don't want to be choked or like have like violence against them. And I actually think that vanilla shaming is just as bad as kink
Absolutely.
shaming.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely hate, and it's sad because even I would be like, recently I've been pretty vanilla. I haven't engaged in kinky sex for about a year, pretty much, 6 months. But like I would still like feel a little bit ashamed to be like, oh, I'm vanilla, which I should like.
But
we
what does
shouldn't put
vanilla? What
shame
does
on
that mean? You just enjoy missionary?
it.
No,
I don't think so. I think
I've got something to say about this. So obviously you don't know what you don't know. So if you've never experienced or if you've never come across someone who wants to do that sort of stuff, you're obviously going to meet someone in your life who's slightly more experienced than you. So had I met someone, or if I do meet someone in the future who has experiences like, oh, I want to try this, I probably would say yes. But if we're both on sort of the same level, my mind can't go that far to think like, okay, there's this bunch of trends out there and I want to try them. Does that make sense?
So you know what you like. You're happy to that. You're happy to stick with that. Is rimming going to be part of your? Is that part of the plethora of things that you enjoy?
I don't know.
There's no shame in it, is there, April? Like this?
No,
Yeah.
like,
it's not even about.
You rimmed guys before.
Yeah, of course. But I think it's weird. I think like it's really hard to define vanilla because like for me, rimming is vanilla. Like that's just like a standard like.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah,
right?
like when
Yeah,
I say
everyone's got
I'm
different- yeah.
having vanilla sex, like I'm still licking their asshole. But that's just like normal for me. Like, but I
Have you ever had a terrible experience when you've licked a guy out and just thought,
yeah
shit, literally?
yeah. I mean, sometimes it's not delicious to start with, but that's okay. Sex,
Should always
isn't
just
it?
get them to shower beforehand. Unless if you're at a club or whatever, or some like public place, that's kind of
I've
out of the
got
picture,
quite-
isn't it?
Personal insight into the whole dominatrix thing, because one of my friends is a dominatrix and she'll be on the show hopefully in January. She's just been really busy and she's on OnlyFans. I think she's amazing, and there are a few things I noticed about her and I'm going to say when she's on this as well. So we went out for a lunch, and they give you that tap water and everything. My glass was empty and the tap water that they'd given us in the jug was completely gone. So I reached for the waitress. I was like, oh, can I have one? She put my hand down like this. He'd like another water. I was like, wow, she's in control. Wow.
That's hot.
Well, I didn't know what was going on at the moment. At that time, I just thought, okay, cool. She really knows, she's really in control. And I thought that was great. And then she mentioned as well that she doesn't have a boyfriend. I mean, she's absolutely beautiful and she doesn't have any colleagues. So I thought, right, okay, 2 and 2 didn't go together just yet. And then when I added her on Instagram, because it was just a group of us, I was adding everyone that was there from the party on Instagram. She did feel the need to message me and say, by the way, I work in the adult industry, which I thought was really sweet. She didn't have to tell me that. And I really respect her, but she is a full-blown dominatrix. So she doesn't have sex on camera. but she kind of got into the whole fantasy side of things, which is part of BDSM. So the illusion, the fantasies that you can create in your mind. And there'll be times, for example, so the first time that she got into it was on Twitter, and there was a guy that's like, I've got a tiny penis and I want you to make fun of it. I'm going to do an impression. It's really, really bad. But he kept sending them over to her on video, and she was like, what do you want me to say? How do you want me to react to it? Like, and she just conjured up the strength of, you've got a tiny penis, you're pathetic, look at you, you're so stupid, look at that tiny penis in those tiny boxers, look how stupid. And he got off to that, you know, and he was sending her Amazon vouchers and sending her cash. And it's just a side of this community. Doesn't mean you've got a mental disorder or anything like that.
Each to their own.
Each to their own. It's just the kind of thing that you know, people enjoy. So with BDSM, sales of bondage toys have skyrocketed in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So everything from vibrators to
Good
nipple
for them.
clamps to all of those sorts of things. Have either of you ever bought any of those things?
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
My favorite, I don't know, like probably like things I can incorporate. I'm not really like much of a masturbator. I don't really like to like just have sex myself. I like the
Really?
act of, I like the rawness, like I don't know, I like someone to be there. But I like toys that I can incorporate into sex with another person and make it better. So I like my strap on. I do have a good vibrator. Sometimes you gotta, like, you can't always be like, I mean, if anything, it's time consuming. If I go on Field and get someone to come over, that's like, oh, my day gone.
I feel like Field should be sponsoring this podcast. I've spoken about it pretty much every single fucking episode.
I'm a big fan of Field. I really like Field. I mean, I talked about it last time as well.
Yeah, we spoke about it as well.
It's just like, you know, it's sort of like, I always thought, like, as a straight woman, I wish that I could have something like Grindr. And now we've got
But the
Field,
argument
which
is
quite
that Tinder is quite similar to Grindr or any sex app because...
Yeah, but Tinder is full of... I don't know.
Tinder's like anonymous field. Like, you just don't know who has what sort of kinks and stuff, and then you kind of
Have you
figure that out.
Have you guys had hookups from Tinder?
Yeah, and Tinder's just full of like... I don't know. I think that everyone on Field is a bit more sex positive. And I think that Tinder is like... I don't know. For me, Tinder is like traditionalist. It's like, I mean, this is like a huge generalization. And I know this isn't true, but for me, Tinder is like masculine men, and like, I don't know, like Field is a bit more like, I don't really know
It's
what I'm trying
varied.
to say. But
It's varied.
Yeah.
I downloaded Field for the purpose of this podcast, but I got onto that and I've got some stories to tell.
love
I'm actually interested
But
to hear
people's
about
accounts
that.
always get terminated. It's really weird. Like, you'll be mid-conversation with someone and then
Field?
it's like terminated account. Yeah.
Maybe it's because they've gone too far. I don't. But how do you
Yeah.
go too far on an app that's all about kinks?
Well, you've got, see, one thing I really don't like on Field or anywhere else is if they match with me and they just straight away like, so what's the craziest sex thing you've done? Like, we've not even said hello to each other. And I actually had to change my bio. And I literally now have in my Field bio, just because I'm a slut doesn't mean I'm going to come straight to your house without meeting you in public first.
Yeah.
Because I think like that's the problem with Field, and like maybe this is where Tinder might be better. People just think, not everyone are like, definitely not everyone, not me, but
Yeah.
a lot of people on Field are like, oh, this is a sex app, so I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't even have to meet them first.
I can see that happening. Yeah. I can. So just the whole notion of it being a kink app or an app that's tailored to, you know, to explore people's kinks, people just automatically assume that they want it straight away, and so you got to treat it like Tinder. But
my
just
experience on Field has been quite different. But
Right.
I'm going to get onto that. It's very entertaining.
tell us.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there. I'm going to expose myself.
Have you met anyone from it?
No, I did it purely for this episode, and I'll get into it after this. But the sex and relationships expert, Annabelle Knight, she said that you should start without toys. So do other things. If you want to get into the BDSM community, start without toys and then start incorporating them. But she said sensory deprivation. Sensory.
Deprivation.
That's it. Sorry, I've had a couple of drinks. I can't get my words out. Slowly removing the power from the sub is what you do. So she said use blindfolds, do that sort of thing. don't automatically just shove in a strap on or something. Start taking away layers.
Oh, for sure.
You know, tie people up, that sort of stuff. But always consent, and it's always using the safe words, whether it's pomegranate, red, God knows what it is in your situations. Have either of you ever used blindfolds or anything like that?
I don't think I've done blindfold. No, yeah, I have, but not as a thing, you know, like maybe as a byproduct. Not really.
No.
I'd be interested to. When I was younger, I used to have a fantasy of like just like having a blindfold on and just like random people coming to fuck me. But now I don't think so, not anymore. Because they might be weird.
That's cool. I like that.
Really? Is that what turned you on?
You know what? I think there's an element of taking the senses away, and the sort of the unknowing of like what's going to happen. So I actually did that so I was hooking up with this girl for like 2-3 months, and she had this like, she really liked like giving massages. And hey,
was she massaging your prostate?
I ain't complaining. Not the prostate, no. But she would like blindfold me and then like put a towel on the floor and like light some candles around, make it a very sort of
Kama Sutra type of
kind of like erotic, Kama Sutra, kind of experience. Although it wasn't like, you know, tantric sex or anything like that.
We've got a tantric person coming on this podcast.
I'd love to learn tantric.
Yeah,
you'll learn a lot from him. But that's in a couple of weeks, guys.
But yeah, so she was like, she would just blindfold me and then just put like all these like baby body oils on me and stuff, and I just thought that was probably one of the better sexual experiences that I've had in my life.
So you didn't actually have penetrative sex? She was just massaging?
No, she would massage me, and then, you know, we would go into town. But it was more just the idea of, I didn't know where she was, at what part of my body. So like,
there's an element of
I'd
surprise.
think that she was like on my neck and she was about to kiss my neck, but then suddenly like my thighs were being rubbed, and I kind of liked that. It was like, oh, like I didn't expect
Can I just say, how great are my guests? How great are these people being so honest? I fucking love this. So another one that she said to do is to use vibrators. So once you've used the blindfolds, then incorporate a vibrator. How would you feel about being blindfolded and then vibrated?
Oh, I'd like it. Yeah. Sounds nice. Who wouldn't?
Do you use vibrators?
Yeah.
Do other partners use? And also, one of my friends, she said to me that she prefers a vibrator to a dick.
Oh, I disagree. I love penetration, but even a dildo is not the same. Like, you've got to be a real. I really just like the connection, the rawness. Like, I feel like it's it's going back to the roots of the human. You know what I mean? It's like your deepest raw desires. But I don't think a vibrator is even close to a real dick. But if they don't know how to use it, that's another story. Then a vibrator is better. But if they do, then yeah, like I hate I said earlier, like I hardly ever just like use a vibrator on my own. Very rarely.
Cool. Can you guys guess the next biggest trend in the UK with millennials?
I'm going to guess cuckolding.
What do you think it is?
Threesome?
No. Could both of you raise one of your legs?
Foot fetish.
Oh yeah.
No way.
People are into feet.
It's crazy. I've slept with a lot of people and none of them have ever openly had a foot fetish.
Can I just say, for the record, I've got mad foot fetish.
Really?
Look at these faces.
Yeah. I can't. Right, we'll get to you in a minute.
Mad.
I'm so glad I got you two on the podcast. Like you've been great.
Yeah.
So people who are so I just need to read it out just in case anyone listening doesn't know about what a foot fetish is. So it's people who are turned on by various aspects of feet, toes, and ankles. And the foot fetish can take forms in various forms, from licking to sniffing feet. Some people prefer to massage. Some people get turned on if there's an anklet on there, if there's a bit of jewelry. And I just need so Dr. Lee Miller said that they're learned behaviors. So it's not necessarily, because I've read articles where people are like, there's something in your brain that's attracted to feet or that sort of thing. And it's not necessarily that. It could be, for example, that you're with someone who's masturbating you using their feet. And that's the trigger that kind of sets everything off.
Interesting.
So would you say that you've got a foot fetish, Rum?
Yes. Hands down.
And when did it start?
Yeah, I think it. Oh God, I hope this doesn't. I hope none of my mum's friends see this. But I had a woman who was a very attractive lady who happened to be a friend of my mum's, and I think I was like maybe like between like 8 to 10 years old, and I just remember I just kept looking at her feet. I don't know why. I just really like, and okay, the thing is with me is that I'm quite specific with when it comes to feet. Like, you could be a 10 out of 10, and if your feet are ugly, I won't go near you.
Really?
I swear to God. Yeah, literally.
We've both got questions, right?
I've got the ugliest feet. If anyone ever has a foot fetish, they just can't date me.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Oh, here we go, guys. What is this, blind date?
No, but in general, like, she was an attractive woman, and she just had like the most immaculate feet I've ever seen in my life.
What was it? A bit of nail polish on there?
So for me, I only like red and black on toes.
Black?
Yeah, red and black. Because it just like it stands out. For me, like nude colors just don't do it. Like, you could have really nice feet, and I'm like, oh, okay, you got nice feet. But if you're wearing like nude colors, like I had this a girl that I was dating, and she would tell me like what color she's gonna get in the nail salon, and she was like, oh, I got nude. I was just like, oh, great.
So if she said she got nude, does that mean you weren't gonna have sex?
No. It's not. I'm not that much of a prude. Like, I would
you just
still
didn't want to look at it, or
no, just like I would still appreciate it. I would never make someone feel bad for getting a certain color that they really liked. But for me, it was just like black and red just really turned me on, because it kind of just accentuates the toe shape for me.
I
just
fucking
like,
love this
boom.
podcast. This is so good.
But
This is
so back to like when it sort of started. That's my earliest memory of just knowing that like I just started to notice feet more. And that's why I love summertime, because everyone's just in sandals, like just walking around the streets.
I can understand it. Like, a lot of women have pretty feet.
Yeah. By the way, 1 in 7 men have a foot fetish. That's
say that again.
1 in 7 men have a foot fetish.
This was the whole point of the podcast. So people have got these taboos that they talk about in private, but I want to make it like normal and spoken about in public, because I wouldn't have known that about you, and I've known you for 10 years.
Yeah.
So
it's not something that I would just publicly say. Like,
yeah.
If a girl asks me, I used to be shy about it. I used to like catch myself out. Like,
so do you like smelly feet? Do you like feet that smell?
No.
So it has to smell clean?
Yeah. Like, for me, when you were saying, what a foot fetish is, and it's like licking, kissing, smelling, the smelling part, I was like, that's not something that really gets me going. Like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm coming across as like this sort of prude, like, oh, he's like this macho, like clean guy or whatever. Like, I genuinely do like
what Dr. Lehman said. Look, it's not a mental disorder or anything like that.
Thank God for that.
No, it's a learned behavior, and people have got kinks, and that's what I'm trying to just show on this podcast. That,
of course.
So keep going.
But to answer your question, for me, it's more because you have so much sensors on your feet. I genuinely like, for example, like I love to pleasure a woman by massaging her feet. And when I see that she enjoys that, because there's a lot of women who don't, I've come across women who've been like, oh, like feet, I don't like you touching my feet. I don't like, if anything touches my feet, I'm like, just like cringe.
Do you like people touching your feet, April?
No. My feet are like,
well, that's one of the reasons.
Part of my body.
That's one of the reasons. It's because they're not confident in, like, for example, they think that their feet aren't
nice. If you just had a pedicure, would you?
Oh, they still look bad.
All right.
But hold on, I got a question for you. So what about if you have a man who genuine, and you can tell that they mean it, like they're like, I really actually like your feet.
But
compliments your feet and makes you feel confident in your own skin. Because I'll be honest, I have turned women who hate feet to.
But that's what Dr. Lehman's saying. It's a learned behavior.
It is.
It's not something that you just wake up with. I mean,
I can believe that.
You had a fixation with feet from a young age, but the whole sexual side of it probably wouldn't have come until you've, no pun intended, actually experienced it sexually.
For sure. Yeah. I can totally see that happening.
So when you have sex, the feet, is that a big part of the act? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I've known you for 10 years now. Not that I ever would have found out.
I used to be quite like ashamed of it. Not like I was very shy, because some people would be like, oh, like, you like feet? That's weird. But then again, I have, like, for example, like when you go on Hinge, like I have gone on women's profiles and they've put, for example, I'm weirdly attracted to hands. They put it themselves on their profile. Yeah. And I've been like, Well, feet are just a part of the body. It's like, why is that any different than hands?
When you're being tossed off, would you prefer that it was done with hands or feet?
Well, hands, obviously, because, there's more grip and...
You don't know. You might meet a girl that's got some amazing foot control.
I have. I have in the past, but it's sort of like the porn industry that actually accentualizes that, and in the sense that, like, you see that on screen, you're thinking like, oh wow, like that's I wish someone could replicate that. I have had people who can replicate that. It does take quite a lot of skill, I think. Like when they're doing it, I'm just like, fucking hell, you're not tired yet? Like how are you just keeping your feet just up the whole time,
Go and do that again. Camera's over there. April, have you ever met a guy that's wanted you to...
No, but I think because I've slept with quite a few people.
Good for you.
And I just think that they take one look at my feet and they're like, let's not tell her about the foot fetish.
Fucking hell.
Because they must, out of everyone I've slept with, one of them must have. But
I'm actually curious now.
No, they're so...
He's flirting.
ugly.
What's going on right now?
It can't be that bad.
No, even my ex was like...
I'm looking at your hands. Do you have a hand fetish
too?
Sorry?
Do you have a hand fetish too? Or
No, but
feet?
like I can tell if you've got nice feet based off your hands.
Do I have nice feet?
I reckon you get pedicures, don't you?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes,
I bite my nails.
You do not bite your nails.
Yes, I do.
You've got nice hands.
So that means...
So as a guy, I reckon you'd have like above average feet. By the way, for the record, can I just say, guys have disgusting feet. That's just like known, right?
I've got horrible feet.
So if you've got like above average feet, that's a flex. One for the hinge prompts, by the way. Like.
Look at April's. Show your hands. He's going to judge your feet based...
My hands are awful. I've got short, fat fingers.
So does that mean you've got short, stubby feet? Is that what you're saying?
No, I've got big feet. I'm a size 40. That's quite big for me.
What's a 40?
Like
Are we in the US now? Like size 40. That's a 7.
No, that's
Fucking
EU
hell.
sizes. It's like 6.5 to 7.
Oh, that's all right.
But for how short I am, I don't like to say this, but I am actually 5'4".
You don't look that small in person.
No, it's because I've got tall energy. People always say to me, like, I have no idea you are 5'4", even when I wear
You
flat
do have
shoes.
heels on right now.
Yeah, but I have tall energy. I carry myself like a tall
So if
girl.
you've got tall energy, you've got the confidence, then get a pedicure and jump in.
I've had pedicures. It doesn't even touch the surface. And even my ex was like, you have really ugly feet.
Wow.
Which is okay. It's
We'll
okay.
drop him straight away.
No, it's okay. I like people to be honest. I don't like people to... when you just know... Like, for me personally, I'm very confident. I'm going off on a massive tangent right now. But if I look bad and I'm like, oh, I look like shit today, I don't want people to be like, oh my God, no, you look so... Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, I know that I look good most of the time. So if I'm like, I look shit today, it's not because... Yeah, I don't think I look shit today, but thank you. But yeah, if I do have a day where I'm like, oh, I look bad, I don't want people to be like, oh... No, actually, you look good. I'm like, just let me have it. So I appreciated him for being honest about my feet.
Okay.
on the topic, can I just say, by the way, like, I think, one of the biggest fears was actually admitting. I'm actually quite surprised today how open I was about it.
I fucking love this.
But I thought to myself,
can I just say thank you for being so honest, because I know it's not easy to sit in the hot seats when I'm kind of talking about all of these stuff, all of these things, and I really appreciate both of you coming on and being so
You're welcome.
So honest.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us. But yeah, I hope that I'm speaking for the men out there who are like sort of not confident enough to admit that they have a foot fetish, but really and truly, and I quote what I said earlier on about 1 in 7 men having a foot fetish. That's a high number.
But this is the thing, and this is why the podcast was conceived, because people talk about this in private, maybe with 2 or 3 friends, but they don't say it publicly.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any negative feedback? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I don't want you to.
No. Genuinely, I think that's probably why that's bolstered my confidence in saying this, because genuinely I haven't had any bad feedback. Like, I've had someone say like, oh, this is different, or this is interesting, and then for me it was like that was my cue to kind of like continue, at least anyway. So, but yeah, I am not surprised that so many other men do this.
It's in the top 3 of things for
millennials. I'm surprised it's not top.
But pegging is the thing though that's taking over. I mean, we look at it, the sales, it's 200% increase for Just Love Honey, so God knows what everyone else is doing. What I wanted to know about next is your wildest sexual experiences.
What do you mean when you say wild?
So however you interpret that question.
Can I get a Bacardi,
Like,
by
do
the
you
way?
mean
So
like
tap
in
us out.
terms of like doing kinky stuff, or
Yeah.
like when I think of my wildest sexual experience, it's like having sex in a boat in the sea in Thailand, but that's not like crazy. Like that's just like, you know, wild and free.
So have you? So let's maybe relate it back to the podcast. Have you done any of the so with the BDSM, for example? Have you ever been dressed up as like a dominatrix with a whip and
Yeah,
you know, like I was saying to my friends, like you've got a tiny penis, you're this, you're
I've
that.
not done that. I
Right.
don't like to be mean.
Do you understand why?
in
some
life
people,
and sex?
but some people are turned on by
Yeah,
that,
but
and normally it's men that have got like
if they were
quite a powerful
really
position.
into it, then absolutely I would do it. But I think like in situations where I've been dominant, it's kind of more like I would say I'm like a soft dom or like a gentle dom, I think might be the term for it. Like I'm definitely not slapping anyone in the face, maybe lightly, but I'm definitely not, you know, like stepping on your head. Like I'm not being like, right, go and do my laundry. You know what I mean? Like I think that I like to give them pleasure. And what turns me on the most about it is like seeing how much they're enjoying themselves and I'm causing that.
When you were saying to that guy that was on holiday, you have to come right now, or
Yeah,
all of
I
that.
suppose
Did you enjoy
could
that?
see that as
Yeah.
mean, but it wasn't in like a. I mean, yeah, okay, I guess that could be kind of like going towards like the mean, but it's, you know, it's nice. He's getting to have an orgasm.
Can I
I'm
say,
not
by the way,
being like-
did he have to prove it to you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
One thing that women love, and I will actually speak for like all women right now, because I feel like collectively we love videos of you coming with the sound on, moaning. Like, don't send us a dick pic. Send us a cum video, sound on. Honestly, men need to know this. Women fucking love that shit.
This is the best episode ever. I'm just sat here listening to you. You guys are great. Okay, and then after that, what's the best sexual experience you've had? Do you have a partner that you could think of, or just a casual encounter? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, it was, by the standards, it was a vanilla experience, but
No shame in vanilla.
no shame in vanilla, but yeah, I did have a very romantic sort of beach sex experience with my ex.
Feet involved?
No, sand, but you know, you get sand in between your teeth.
So it was sex on the beach.
It was sex on the beach, but like it was just so like pure and like romantic and passionate. Like it was just like that honeymoon phase when you just get with someone as well, and it was just, I felt like my soul just like left my body that day, and it was just so, it was literally the definition of like love making.
And was this like when it was it dark outside?
It was light. The weather was like mild, so it wasn't like really hot. And
so
sticky.
exhibitionists exhibitionism is one of the kinks on the list. It's not in the top 3.
Right.
Do you like having outdoor sex?
Not to the extent where people can see us, no.
But you were on a public beach.
We were. Well, no, I mean, we found a spot that was very sort of, you know, quite private, and there were trees around, bushes around us. It was like so it wasn't like the sand front, it was more just a bit more further back. But it was just so cute, and it was like we made a fire pit and everything, and it was just like, it was incredible.
April?
I think that what Rum just said really sums up like what makes sex good, which is like foreplay and tension, I feel. And like this is why I think that foreplay is so important. So like when I think back to my best sexual experiences, like I'm not going to say any in particular because there's been a few and it's always context dependent, but like even like say some good sex I've had recently has started off where like and I'm not a morning sex person. I don't wake up horny. Like I don't like it if I wake up next to a guy that I've been sleeping with and he's just like dick straight ready, you know, like I'm just like, leave me alone. Like there was one I've had recently that was pretty good where I just woke up and we were cuddling and he was just like running his hands down my whole body for literally about 15-20 minutes before it even got sexual. And like I guess in a way
that
it's
is
sort
kind of
massage.
sexual, yeah.
Yeah, but it like I think like it was taking away the pressure, because I think when I wake up next to someone in the morning and they want to have sex in the morning and I've just woken up, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, like I'm gonna have sex, I'm not turned on. But it took away he was just like stroking my body. I could have very easily got up and been like, right, I'm gonna have a shower. But like I think like the way that he took his time with it, like 100%. Honestly, I was so wet. Like
so much.
He was like running his whole hands and I was like, oh my God, that is actually so sexy. So I think like, and also I am a fan of one night stands. Like when they're gonna happen, they're gonna happen. But it definitely does help to know someone and know what they like and what they're into, and have had that conversation.
I also find like what I can increase the betterness of my like sexual experiences by simply just asking like the woman like, what is it that you like? And honestly, I think a lot of guys can neglect that. Like a simple question, and it doesn't show like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. It's literally, show me, tell me what is it that you like, and then they can kind of guide you, and then you learn about their body. If it's a one night stand situation, obviously that's a bit different. Like you just kind of have to guess or just use your experience. But when you're with someone for like, let's say a situationship, but you're just fucking for like 2-3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, whatever it is, just ask them.
Annabelle Knight is the sex and relationships expert. That's what she was saying. So you need to get to know your partner. Don't copy what you've seen in the porn videos because it's so produced. They've done several takes. They're actors as well. So they're not going to be showing real emotion.
But porn is also porn is an interesting one. Like I get why porn can also be like very toxic and bad in some senses, but the first time I ever had sex, and I genuinely mean, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but the first time I ever had sex, I felt like I knew what I was doing. And that was because I was emulating some of the stuff that I was watching in porn. So it kind of educated me and it helped me in that sense. Not to the degree that I was some sort of like sex god or anything, but like I was like, also like when I was doing it, I was like, so he did like this, so I'm gonna do it like this as well. So
how old were you when you lost your virginity? Both
I was late. I was like 18.
I was 15.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty standard UK.
Just short of
age,
my
I
18th
feel.
birthday. Yeah.
What's the most embarrassing experience that you've had during sex?
I'd never get embarrassed, but I have vomited on dicks about 70 times.
Fuck me.
But 70 is an exaggeration, but I've done it quite a lot. Because especially
Really?
if I'm
Is this
drunk,
after a couple of drinks? Yeah, I was gonna
if
say.
I'm drunk and because the thing is with one night stands, they don't. So I'm gonna say, I don't want to toot my own horn.
Sorry.
I love this. Go on, April.
No, I don't want to be like, I don't want to like come off as a dick, but like I am pretty good at giving head, but I've got my own method. I don't deep throat. So if a guy's like really, really into deep throat, then, not for me, like we're not compatible. But like there are a lot of guys who, if we've not met, we're fucking for the first time, they'll, maybe had experience with girls where they can just like deep throat really easy. I have like a small mouth and a sensitive gag reflex. So they'll like...
Just hold your thumb.
It doesn't work.
It does. It does. If you hold your thumb and you do, there was some video I saw on Instagram. It was like if you hold your thumb, and there was something else that was like conjoined with it.
So you tried to deep throat,
well,
and
no,
it
I
backfired.
don't try. They force me, and then I throw up, and then I'm like, "That's what you."
But it's during a consensual circumstance where they're just
yeah, borderline.
Where did that out?
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's less like it's not like anything like problematic. It's just like, we don't know each other. They've probably had a lot of experiences with girls where they can just like take it down the throat.
Yeah.
But like for me, that makes me sick. So
does that put you off giving head? Like,
no, I love giving head. It's like my favorite thing.
Even though you've thrown up a few times.
Yeah, who cares? We carry on.
Fine. And when that happens, do you continue after, or?
Yeah, I say, oh, sorry, I've got a sensitive gag reflex. They're normally all right with it.
Right. And then finally, just to wrap this up, no pun intended, I was going to ask what your kinks are, but we kind of know. So yours is? Mine
is, I would boil it down to feet, foot fetish, anything feet related, being sort of submissive and tied up, but not obviously.
Where did that come from? You didn't tell us.
Well, the whole massage experience.
Oh, got it.
Like not knowing the sensory feelings of like what's going to happen. So in that sense, blindfolds, being tied up, not really pain involved or anything like that. So I would just boil it down to those two, and threesome.
Queen April.
My kinks are everything and nothing. Like I don't need to have the kinks there. I mean, I guess I get bored without them, but I'm pretty much into anything. Like I'm open to do anything. I think like my deepest kink is just like
love making.
No, I don't know. Like I really like to be dominant. I'm partial to pissing on each other, honestly. I don't mind that.
So you've tried piss? Have you tried piss?
Never.
I quite like it,
What
but
do you
I
like
like
about it?
I like body fluids. Like I like sweat, cum, piss. You know what I mean? Not poo. That's a bit far.
Yeah.
But I
We're
like it to be so wet, like so raw, so
we're
like
so polar
let's
opposite.
just piss on each other. You know what I mean? Like I just
And
like
does that
it's
have-
hard. It's hard to do, man, because you're going to the bathroom and then like you kill the mood. You don't want to piss on your bed.
Some people are into that.
Pissing on their bed.
Yeah.
No, I
But
don't.
when a
want
woman
my
squirts,
bed
that's not,
sheets.
some of that's piss.
Oh
you know?
yeah, no. I mean, I've squirted a few times and it doesn't smell like piss.
Yeah, but it's not just the urine, it's other
Yeah,
stuff
I think
too.
it's like a lot of mixed up shit. I love squirting. It's who doesn't, you know? But I don't know, man. Like my particular kinks, like they change. You know what I mean? Like I'm very changeable. Like 1 minute I like one thing, next minute I like the other thing. But I think like what I look for in a partner is just open mindedness and the willingness to try everything.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm not like, even though I am dominant and I much prefer sex where I'm dominant, but I'm not just like looking, when I'm dating someone, I'm not just looking for them to be submissive. I'm more looking for them to be like open-minded. I'm wanting to try. Yeah, you know, and also they've got to let me do things to their ass. But yeah, I don't know, like I love kinky sex, but I also like people to introduce me to new things. Like I like doing things I've not done before. I like to have sex with someone who is really kinky that can like introduce me to new shit as well. Not literal shit. Poo is one of the things that I'm definitely not into.
That's not on the top 10 of list.
No,
but
I don't.
it is a
It
key
is
though.
this.
Fecal bondage.
Yeah, some people are
It's
into
called
that.
scat. But yeah, I don't know, like that was a really vague answer to a simple question. But I mean, like, yeah, I like being dominant, I like pegging. I like just getting wet and nasty.
Yeah, perfect. And finally, if you've got any advice for anyone that wants to maybe join the kink community, discover what their kinks are, what would they be? I'm going to start with you.
Advice. God, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm qualified to give advice, but I would say maybe download Field, put it in your bio. But I think like for me, what made me discover the world of kink, and I would definitely not say I'm an expert in it, I'm still learning, but it was like dating someone who not only sort of introduced me to it, which was the guy I was talking about earlier, not only introduced me to it, but also was just someone who I really trusted and felt like I could, you know, we could explore it together and I wouldn't feel like he was gonna judge me or feel any, you know, sometimes you can be shy, like, oh, I want to dominate someone, but I'm scared they're going to judge me. Like when I was like speaking to this guy, I knew that he wasn't going to judge me. So I guess just date people who are nice, to be honest with you. And if you feel like you want to try something, just bring it up with that person. And I would say when you're early getting into it, don't do it with one night stands because the consent boundaries might be a bit difficult. Unless like just have a conversation before.
Rum, how about you?
So my advice, and I go back to what I said earlier on, is that you don't know what you don't know, right? So if you are with someone who perhaps has a bit more experience than you, just trust them. Trust them in that they probably know what they're talking about, and have a very open, honest communication channel with them in the sense that if they're being sort of consensual and they're like, you know, we should try this, keep an open mind. At least try it once. I feel like everyone's tried something at one point in their life, whether it's drugs or a certain cuisine or food or what, it could be anything. So in that sense, like, yeah, just keep an open mind, kind of echoing what April said as well. And yeah, just be trusting towards your partner.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on this. I cannot wait to see the comments. I'm going to save my field experience maybe for the next episode, but what I'll say is, I know it's a teaser. What I'll say is I'll tease the listeners. Several couples got in touch.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing.
Several couples, like
Yeah.
I want to watch you with my wife, I want to watch you with my husband, that sort of thing. But I will talk about that on the next episode.
Amazing.
You've been incredible, both
Thank
of you,
you.
April and Rum. I'm sure I'm going to have you as series regulars.
Oh, I'd
Appreciate
love
it.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you to
Guys,
the best host.
Millennial Secrets. I'm sure you loved this episode. This is what you've been asking for. This sort of topic is what the podcast was conceived out of. So comment, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much.